Welcome to the Highcrest Audible. Each week you'll hear something new. It might be a short story, a non-fiction text, the next chapter of a novella, a narrative poem, a scene from a play, or even a legend from an ancient civilization. This half-term, we're exploring the world of non-fiction, real-life ponderings, wonderings, and conversations throughout history. As always, at the end of every reading, you'll be asked one question. Get it right, and your form group earns house points. All it takes is for one member of your form to find Mr. Howes, state the accompanying word of the week, and provide him with the answer. Now, on to this week's reading. Enjoy. Today's reading comes from ancient Egypt, nearly 4,000 years ago. It is known as the tale of the shipwrecked sailor, and it survives on a Middle Kingdom papyrus now called Papyrus Leningrad 1115. It was discovered by the Egyptologist Vladimir Golenishtchev in the late 19th century and is currently housed in Moscow. At first glance, this story sounds like fiction, with its talking serpent and magical island. But tales like this were not simply entertainment. They were a way for real societies to explore ideas about duty, disaster, luck, and survival. In the ancient world, imaginative narratives helped people explain experiences that we might now describe with psychology, geography, or science. These stories were shared as lessons about leadership, humility, and resilience. Because of that, historians study them as windows into genuine beliefs, fears, and values from the past. So although this story is not factual in the modern sense, it is still non-fictional in the sense that it shows us how real people made sense of the world. As you listen, think about the advice this sailor brings back to Pharaoh and what Egyptians of the time might have learned from hearing it. The tale of the shipwrecked sailor. The wise servant said, "Let thy heart be satisfied, O my lord, for that we have come back to the country. After we have long been on board and rowed much, the prow has at last touched land. All the people rejoice and embrace us one after another. Moreover, we have come back in good health, and not a man is lacking. Although we have been to the ends of Wawat and gone through the land of Senmut, we have returned in peace, and our land, behold, we have come back to it. Hear me, my lord, I have no other refuge. Wash thee and turn the water over thy fingers, then go and tell the tale to the majesty." His lord replied, "Thy art continues still its wandering words, but although the mouth of a man may save him, his words may also cover his face with confusion. Wilt thou do then as thy heart moves thee? This that thou wilt say, tell quietly." The sailor then answered, "Now I shall tell that which has happened to me to my very self. I was going to the mines of Pharaoh, and I went down on the sea on a ship of 150 cubits long and 40 cubits wide, with 150 sailors of the best of Egypt, who had seen heaven and earth, and whose hearts were stronger than lions. They had said that the wind would not be contrary, or that there would be none. But as we approached the land, the wind arose and threw up waves 8 cubits high. As for me, I sized a piece of wood, but those who were in the vessel perished without one remaining. A wave threw me on an island. After that, I had been 3 days alone, without a companion beside my own heart. I laid me in a thicket, and the shadow covered me. Then stretched I my limbs to try to find something for my mouth. I found there figs and grapes, all manner of good herbs, berries and grain, melons of all kinds, fishes and birds. Nothing was lacking. And I satisfied myself, and left on the ground that which was over, of what my arms had been filled withal. I dug a pit, I lighted a fire, and I made a burnt offering unto the gods. Suddenly I heard a noise as of thunder, which I thought to be that of a wave of the sea. The trees shook, and the earth was moved. I uncovered my face, and I saw that a serpent drew near. He was 30 cubits long, and his beard greater than 2 cubits. His body was overlaid with gold, and his colour as that of true lazuli. He coiled himself before me. Then he opened his mouth, while that I lay on my face before him, and he said to me, "What has brought thee? What has brought thee, little one? What has brought thee?" If thou sayest not speedily what has brought thee to this isle, I will make thee know thyself. As a flame thou shalt vanish, if thou tellest me not something I have not heard, or which I knew not before thee. Then he took me in his mouth, and carried me to his resting place, and laid me down without any hurt. I was whole and sound, and nothing was gone from me. Then he opened his mouth against me, while that I lay on my face before him, and he said, What has brought thee? What has brought thee, little one? What has brought thee to this isle which is in the sea, and of which the shores are in the midst of the waves? Then I replied to him, and holding my arms low before him, I said to him, I was embarked for the mines by the order of the Majesty in a ship. 150 cubits was its length, and the width of it 40 cubits. It had 150 sailors of the best of Egypt, who had seen heaven and earth, and the hearts of whom were stronger than lions. They said that the wind would not be contrary, or that there would be none. Each of them exceeded his companion in the prudence of his heart and the strength of his arm, and I was not beneath any of them. A storm came upon us while we were on the sea. Hardly could we reach to the shore when the wind waxed yet greater, and the waves rose even 8 cubits. As for me, I seized a piece of wood, while those who were in the boat perished without one being left with me for 3 days. Behold me now before thee, for I was brought to this isle by a wave of the sea. Then he said to me, fear not, little one, and make not thy face sad. If thou hast come to me, it is God who has let thee live, for it is he who has brought thee to this isle of the blessed, where nothing is lacking, and which is filled with all good things. See now, thou shalt pass 1 month after another, until thou shalt be 4 months in this isle. Then a ship shall come from thy land with sailors, and thou shalt leave with them, and go to thy country, and thou shalt die in thy town. Converse is pleasing, and he who tastes of it passes over his misery. I will therefore tell thee of that which is in this isle. I am here with my brethren, and my children around me. We are 75 serpents, children and kindred, without naming a young girl who was brought unto me by chance, and on whom the fire of heaven fell and burnt her to ashes. As for thee, if thou art strong, and if thy heart waits patiently, thou shalt press thy infants to thy bosom and embrace thy wife. Thou shalt return to thy house, which is full of all good things. Thou shalt see thy land, where thou shalt dwell in the midst of thy kindred. Then I bowed in my obeisance, and I touched the ground before him. Behold now that which I have told thee before, I shall tell of thy presence unto Pharaoh. I shall make him to know of thy greatness, and I will bring to thee of the sacred oils and perfumes, and of incense, of the temples with which all gods are honoured. I shall tell moreover of that which I do now see, thanks to him, and there shall be rendered to thee praises before the fullness of all the land. I shall slay asses for thee in sacrifice. I shall pluck for thee the birds, and I shall bring for thee ships full of all kinds of the treasures of Egypt, as is comely to do unto a god, a friend of men in a far country, of which men know not. Then he smiled at my speech, because of that which was in his heart, for he said to me, Thou art not rich in perfumes, for all that thou hast is but common incense. As for me, I am prince of the land of Punt, and I have perfumes. Only the oil which thou saidst thou wouldst bring is not common in this isle. But when thou shalt depart from this place, thou shalt never more see this isle. It shall be changed into waves. And behold, when the ship drew near, attending to all that he had told me before, I got up into an high tree to strive to see those who were within it. Then I came and told to him this matter, but it was already known unto him before. Then he said to me, Farewell, farewell. Go to thy house, little one. See again thy children, and let thy name be good in thy town. These are my wishes for thee. And I bowed myself before him, and held my arms low before him. And he gave me gifts of precious perfumes, of cassia, of sweet woods, of coal, of cypress, an abundance of incense, of ivory tusks, of baboons, of apes, and all kinds of precious things. I embarked all in the ship which was come, and bowing myself, I prayed God for him. Then he said to me, Behold, thou shalt come to thy country in 2 months. Thou shalt press to thy bosom thy children, and thou shalt rest in thy tomb. After this, I went down to the shore unto the ship, and I called to the sailors who were there. Then on the shore I rendered adoration to the master of this isle, and to those who dwelt therein. When we shall come in our return to the house of Pharaoh in the 2nd month, according to all that the serpent has said, we shall approach unto the palace, and I shall go into before Pharaoh. I shall bring the gifts which I have brought from this isle into the country. Then he shall thank me before the fullness of all the land. Grant then unto me a follower, and lead me to the courtiers of the king. Cast thine eye upon me, after that I am come to land again, after that I have both seen and proved this. Hear my prayer, for it is good to listen to people. It was said unto me, Become a wise man, and thou shalt come to honour. And behold, I have become such. We've just heard the tale of the shipwrecked sailor, a story written nearly 4,000 years ago and preserved on Papyrus Leningrad 1115. It tells of a sailor who survives a terrible storm and finds himself alone on a mysterious island. But he isn't alone for long. Something extraordinary comes to his aid. So here's your question. Who, or what, looks after the sailor when he is shipwrecked? When you've got your answer, find Mr. Howes, tell him this week's word of the week and your answer to that question. Have a great week.